Welcome to this week's episode of the Xchange Zone podcast, the bridge between sports and life, where we talk to former collegiate, world-class, and professional athletes about the lessons they learned competing that they use in their life right now. Yo, welcome to the Xchange Zone podcast. We bridge sports and life. You know, the Xchange Zone where this baton is not dropped because we don't want to hear this, because then we become disqualified. Champions make sure we keep this baton connected. I'm so excited today to have our wonderful guest, Miss LaJena James, join with us on the Xchange Zone podcast to share some things and just have a conversation about where she is, what she's done, what she's going to do, things she's learned, just to help us become better people, better leaders, better teammates, and just better all around in life. LaJena, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to be a part of this podcast. I'm excited for you and, of course, the audience and community that's going to come from it. So thank you.
Look, we don't want to waste a lot of time. We know people have busy schedules. So tell us about, as a former athlete, we want to know, what sport did you compete in? What levels did you get to? What are you doing now? Just give us a little bit about LaJena.
Sure. So I have to be completely honest and say that I feel like I've always been an average athlete. Like I got into sports because I was bored. I needed something to do. And my parents like, get involved in something, just do something.
Yeah.
So my journey probably with sports began when I was a youth. I think the very first sport I played was softball. And as much as I enjoy softball, it's not something that I stuck with, that I wish I actually would have stuck with it because I actually enjoyed playing that. But I just kind of got my feet wet into doing softball. Then I moved into playing basketball for a little bit. I was like, yeah, this is not for me. But as I got into high school, volleyball and track became my thing. Those are the two sports that I enjoy the most. One, because of volleyball, I just love the team aspect of it. But track also disciplined me. It allowed me to be disciplined in so many different areas. But volleyball and track were my two favorite sports to be a part of, just from the camaraderie and just growing as a person and as an athlete. And from that, I went to college and actually became a cheerleader, and that we compete. I know some people don't think cheerleading
No,
is a
no, no.
sport.
Cheer is a sport. That's why you're here. We're talking to the very small percentage of people who go on to compete at the collegiate and above level. So cheer is interesting to hear all the other stuff, but cheer is why you're here. Cheer
Yeah.
is a sport. If you want to tell us why you think it's a sport, feel free. But I
Yeah.
know why cheer is a sport.
Yeah, for sure. So, interestingly enough, when I was in high school, I tried out every year and never made it as a cheerleader.
Really?
Never made the team. Never made the team. And it was my going into my senior year. And I can talk about why the other sports were so important to me, and then why I was also pursuing cheer. But
Yeah.
I was going into my senior year of high school, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try it one more time just to see if I'm gonna make it. And even all the girls that were trying out with me were like, oh yeah, you're gonna make it. Like, you're so good. We don't see why you wouldn't make it. And I did make it. Again, I'm like, I should just give up this dream of trying to be a cheerleader
Wow.
because it's not working for me. But other sports prepared me for failures and letdowns. And, again, I always say that I'm like average. I didn't feel like I was just above average athlete, but it helped build so much character in me. And just that fight to just keep going, no matter how many times you're disappointed, just to kind of reach this, level of success, if you will, that you want to reach. But went to college. My first semester, found out they were having cheer tryouts. And I was like, okay, this is the collegiate level. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, but I'm gonna try it because I didn't make it before.
Right, right,
And
right.
sure enough, tried out and made the basketball cheer team at Grambling. And I was like, I don't know what was happening beforehand, but here I am now, like still having to learn. I wasn't tumbling before I went to college, so I had to learn to really tumble. I had some basics, but to compete on that level, all that stuff I learned my freshman year in college. So, yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, we hear stories of overcoming obstacles, of saying no and continue to go. You talked about the struggle and what the other sports, the role they played into getting you through that and then to where you are now. So let's talk a little bit about some of the struggles and how you overcame them, the setbacks that we have that actually end up being a setup, it looks like, and then how do you apply that to, life now as an adult?
Yeah, sure. So let me go back a little bit because when I was growing up, I mean, we weren't financially well off. And so people think about cheerleading now, there's so much money that goes into being a cheerleader. You got to pay for privates and tumbling classes and all these different things. And my parents just didn't have that kind of money
Right.
to invest in sports. So it was me being able to get into the free sports at my school and then still also feeling like I'm behind and trying to catch up when it came to those sports. So I also learned at a very young age to catch up on things very quickly.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So learning to just be quick on my feet, being able to watch and to listen to people is how I was able to at least be somewhat successful, to at least be able to play, get playing time, and to build up on that.
Adaptability, accelerating through
Exactly.
adaptability. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I got
Absolutely. Yeah. And so what I just learned in that is that it doesn't matter where you start. You got to be willing to start, and you also got to give yourself a chance and be consistent.
you.
And
Okay.
that was one thing that I could definitely say was I was always consistent. I was always showing up. I was always putting in reps. I was always doing the best. And every year that I was playing those two sports in high school, I got better each year, from going to place of not placing in track to going to regionals, my senior year. And like, what? Like, how you get there?
Yeah.
Never got there before, right? But just putting in the work to even get to that level of success, to just to let you know that you're able, if you just commit the time and if you commit to yourself, you're able to get there. Don't worry about where you came from, how you started late. Put in the reps and put in the hard work if it's something that you really want to pursue. And for me, I'll go back to what I said before. It was always about the community. And
Okay.
track could be a little isolating, especially if you're not on a relay team. So being able to just be around other people that had the like mind was definitely key point for me in competing in those sports and just kind of getting to a level of success where it was successful for me. Yeah.
So help us with how did the setbacks in high school and the perceived rejection in high school and then you get into college, how is that helping you, or has it helped you? If it is, how is it helping you in your adulthood and in
Yeah.
adulthood, yeah, in our adult life?
Yeah. Disappointments are hard. Um, you often feel rejected or like you're not enough. And you have this battle that's going on between your ears of, what other people perceive about you and then kind of what you perceive about yourself. One thing that has helped me in those disappointments or even into adulthood is keep showing up. I just shared this the other day that you are most equipped to help the person you used to be. And
Oh,
so,
hold on. You're most equipped to help. Oh, yes,
yeah,
yes,
to help
yes.
the person you
Okay,
used to be.
okay,
And
okay.
so,
I'm still that.
whereas I often looked as I was a failure or I had many disappointments in getting to the collegiate level to be a cheerleader or, get to the big stage when it comes to track, even in high school, I realized I can always reach back and help somebody else.
Okay,
Whatever skill that I learned, I can go and apply it, help somebody else to do that. But that just helps me to realize I'm still learning something. There's still growth in this process. So it doesn't mean that I'm not good enough. Just keep growing. That's
yeah,
the key point. Grow so I can help somebody else grow because there's somebody else that wants to quit. And if I can show them, girl or dude, if I could do this, surely
yeah,
you can
yeah,
do this.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's that's great. So then you have kids and they're involved in sports. So are there things that you share with them now that you would have shared with your younger self, or things that you share with them now that you wish somebody had shared with you, or things that you share with them now that you learned through the process of being this competitive athlete at the
Mm,
collegiate level, the high school and
yeah.
collegiate level?
Yeah. So I'll go back a little bit, but even before I had kids, so after college, I entered into education and I was coaching cheer.
Okay.
And then taking those girls to nationals where they were state champions just was like a full circle moment for me, because what I was able to pour into them is, um, you don't have to look like anybody else, and you don't have to do it the way anybody else does it. Just be the best at what you're capable of doing, no
Yeah.
matter the level. And that's the same thing that I tell my kids in anything that they do. So my son right now, he's playing football, and last year was his first year really with school football. And so he, of course, I don't know, you can maybe be able to speak to this, but it's like he wants to wear all the things and, be the football character. But I'm like, are you willing to put in the reps to be the football player?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to apply what you need to apply? And I think this summer, like, he finally got it. He was able to put in the reps in the backyard. I'm like, before we put you into any camp, sign up for any session, what you gonna do at home? What if you
Yeah.
don't have all these assets, that we have available, have these resources available? Are you willing to put in that work at home? Use what you have. It's something I'm always telling people. Use what you have in your hands right now.
Yeah.
Because if we use what we have in our hands, we're able to come up with so much. We get creative with what we're able to do. But yeah, that's something I just instill into my kids. Look in the mirror, decide who you want to be,
Yeah.
not what the next person looks like. Yes, you can admire them and you're inspired by what they're able to do, but what can you do? Because you're able to contribute something to the team or to your sport that nobody else is able to do.
Yeah, that's a great lesson. Put the work in, put the reps in. Those are things that, I mean, you had to do
Mm-hmm.
in high school and of course in college.
Yeah. Yeah.
Outside of putting in work and putting in the reps, what are some other lessons from competing that you learn and that you seem like you share a lot with a lot of people. So what are some other ones outside of, you put the reps in, you do the work, you become authentically and comfortable being yourself. But what are some other things that you've learned in your athletic journey that have helped you and that you share with others?
Mm-hmm. Um, for me, it'll probably be two things. That, of course, is my faith.
Okay.
Um, and if I get an opportunity to share that, of course, I was teaching in public school and always, asking for permission to share my faith with others. And if it's received, then I do that. And sharing how we are playing for an audience of one. And, all the things that surround sports, your audience of one, you being able to compete is like your worship to
Mm-hmm.
God, using the skills and the gifts and talents that He's been able to give you, to put it out on the field, the court, whatever your field of play may be.
Yeah.
Rely on your faith and strength in God. And then also, don't be afraid to develop yourself mentally, because you need to have a strong mindset to compete. You got to be grounded, as the people say now. You got to be 10 toes down on what it is that you
I'm
believe,
standing
what
on
you
business, 10 toes, standing on business.
stand on business, right? Commit to that. There's so many wavering factors, like, with this, and I'm not abreast to like everything, but with the NIL and transfer portal, there's no loyalty
Right.
in
Right.
sport anymore. There's no
Right.
loyalty to a lot of things. Even in the workplace, the turnover for people in a job is what, 2 to 3 years, and they're on to the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to be loyal to that. I'm not saying that you have to be stuck in that, but don't be afraid to be loyal to that thing. Commit to it. Go all in for what it is that you want to set out and achieve and accomplish. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things we know about athletes is they have this competitive gene, this
Mm.
this competitive something. And I don't know if you're competitive to be an athlete or you're an athlete because you are competitive, but
Mm-hmm.
you were competitive, both in high school and in college and cheer.
I'm
Yes.
still a little competitive, but yeah.
Okay, so that's my next question. Do you still have that competitive thing inside of you? And since you already answered you do, what do you do
Yeah.
to satisfy it? What are some things you do to scratch that competitive itch, since the lights
Sure.
aren't as bright publicly
Yeah.
as they used to be?
Yeah, I like competition. I think competition is so good for you. It just keeps you sharp.
Okay.
Not just in a physical sense, but also like mentally and like spiritually. It's good to just have a little healthy competition. I'm a football fan. I enjoy football, not because just I was a cheerleader. I just enjoy the sport. Heck,
Okay.
we were in the South, Louisiana and Texas. We like us some
Yes,
football.
we are gonna play football. Yes.
Yeah, we'll play some football. So just the spirit around it, the camaraderie around it. I just enjoy being able to like have that banter back and forth. You and I went to rival schools, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, just that trash talking and just, I just enjoy that. It's all in good, clean fun. But even with my kids, I'll say, even with my job, I'll do this. We do
Okay.
what we call pigskin pick'ems.
Okay.
Kind of like I guess, kind of like a fantasy football, like
Yeah.
picks or whatever.
Yeah.
I just like to see where I am in my knowledge of the sport. So I'm able to kind of pick who my teams are for the week. I just enjoy that overall. Just playing little games like that. Teasing with the kids, like I can beat them, like I can still run fast with my son. We get out on the pavement and like, let's go, right? Even with my daughter, like we just kind of like hand toss back and forth because she at that age where she thinks that she's grown too, even though she's 18. I'm like, girl, you don't know me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't try it.
Yeah. You be
But
careful
yeah,
out there in those streets.
yeah. Yeah, we're not trying to pull nothing.
No. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you still compete. You do fantasy. You still young enough
Yeah.
and in shape enough to raise your kids. Those days are over for you.
Oh, they look. I get it. It's winding down for me for sure. But yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um, what did leadership look like then? 'Cause in sports, we know we had coaches and leaders of teams. If you're one of them, even as coming in as a freshman, you weren't the person yet. You have to earn that. So what did leadership look like then? And
Hmm.
what does it look any different now?
Hmm. Wow, that's so interesting because there are many areas in my life where I always felt like I was a leader.
Okay.
And when I went to college and actually became a cheerleader, Grambling had never. Mm, I'll make sure I'm right on this. I don't think Grambling had ever had an all-girl cheer squad. They've
Okay.
always had a co-ed squad, and they may have had a all-girl cheer squad like back in the day, but as it grew, they were more of a co-ed squad. So my first like full year cheering, we end up having two teams, an all-girl cheer squad and a co-ed squad.
Okay.
And this is like my first time really being a part of a full team. And the coach named me captain.
Wow. Wait,
And
wait,
I was
hold
like,
on, hold on, hold on,
yeah,
hold
yeah.
on. Take this up. So you didn't make the high school cheer team. You go to Grambling and you make
Hmm.
the cheer team, and then
Yeah,
you become a captain first year.
yeah. First year became a captain, right?
Wow,
Isn't that crazy?
that says a lot.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, God, really? You just, I mean, just completely blew my mind. Um, and it was something my coach said. I always tell him, I was like, I think you did this team for me. I was like, you didn't know me from anybody, but I'm like,
Right.
I feel like you did this for me. But it just gave me an opportunity to I'll say that it confirmed everything that I already believed about myself and what
Okay.
I've already worked towards.
Yeah.
I've always, like I said earlier, it's about reaching back. Who am
Mhm.
I qualified to help? And so for all the other girls that wanted to ever be a cheerleader, I was their cheerleader by just being a captain.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I did. Here's what I put in. Here's the work I put in. Here's the relationships that I built and why this is important with that. And I think that even translates over to now,
Yeah.
just being able to root for the underdog.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
like I just, again, like I still always felt like I was kind of the underdog. And that some people may say, no, that wasn't true. But for me, that's how I saw myself as underdog. Like I'm gonna climb my way up. And how can I help you do the same? And whatever I have, I'm willing to give to you and share that with you. So just being a servant leader, I
Okay.
think is what that looked like for me. Being
Cool.
able to communicate with people well, try to lead people well. And not just assert my authority, if you will. Just being able for people to be able to come to me openly
Yeah.
without feeling judged or feeling like everybody has a voice here. So yeah, that was wild. Just kind of like thinking back on it even
Yeah,
now, like
that's pretty wild. I mean,
yeah.
just and I guess it says something about not allowing people in your
Mhm.
past to dictate your present or your future. You know,
Yeah.
people who said no, somebody says yes. So if you keep at it, and then it sounds like you use that as motivation.
Hmm.
I'm talking about this, I never thought I was good enough. I had, had this chip on my shoulder. So did that drive you to to put even in more work and become even better at what you were doing?
Yeah, I think that was a point, that was probably like a turning point for me, that if I'm able to, like, I'll use your words, to just keep chipping away at the next level,
Yeah.
there is really no limit to what I can do. Now, what I did learn along the way is be true to what you're able to do. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to copy. Don't try to be, you know, stay true to who you are.
Rewind that and say, be true to who you
Who
are.
you
Because people go
exactly.
out there with this false sense of entitlement, false sense of
Mm,
skill set, this false sense of I'm this good. Well, not really. You're really not that
yeah.
good. You
Yeah.
might want to go to the library. This might not be your ministry over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And just being like a student of it, of anything, that whatever you're pursuing, be a student of that, learn more about it. And I think that's what I ultimately did, just begin to learn, look, asking for help, and not being afraid to ask for help, because the people that want to see you win, they'll help you.
Right.
Get in the right corner, in the right group of people, they'll be willing to help you to do that. So
So
yeah.
do you still have that approach now, that mindset that, I'm going to prepare, I'm going to ask
Mm.
for help when I need it. Do you still use that now?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. All the time. And I'm not afraid to ask for help, but I'm also not afraid to research. And I think that's something that may be lacking. People don't want to put in the work to research and to develop yourself professionally. Do the work. Do what it takes. If I am so gung ho and passionate about a subject, I'm going to go all in trying to figure it out. And again, if I can't figure it out for myself, I'm going to ask for help, and be able to wanted to sit at the table with other people who are on the level that I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, level up, level up. So you mentioned the
Yeah.
coach that made you a captain as a freshman.
Hmm.
That had to be one tremendous relationship. One, he or she,
He.
he saw something in you that you may not have seen in yourself based on past uh, situations. But what did you learn from him that
Hmm.
that you still use from a leadership standpoint? Did you learn anything from your coach that you still use or apply, or that has
Hmm.
been a thread in your adulthood?
Yeah. Um, One, be willing to give people a chance
Okay.
to grow and to level up to the position that you have placed them in. I think sometimes we put people in positions, guarantee they may be qualified, they may have all the things, they may look really great on paper, but they may have a horrible attitude or they don't work well with people.
Okay.
And I can definitely say without a doubt, there were some other girls on that team that were better tumblers than I was. They had been cheering for years. They had definitely put in the work, but their attitude may not be great, or they may not be have doing well in school. So not being afraid to bet on somebody, and pour into them to help them rise to the occasion, if you will. That's something I even do with my job today, is helping people. And I can talk about the job in a minute, but just helping, recognizing there's some strengths in people, potential in other people, helping them rise to the occasion when we're creating different projects or resources, if you will.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. What what when we're competing, we're
Mm-hmm.
self motivators. We
Mm-hmm.
have to be self starters. We're motivated, but what happened when the motivation wasn't there? How did
Mm.
you how did you deal with that then? And then how do you deal with it now? There's very few people can stay on all the time.
All the time.
And so what how do we help us with when when we feel like there's a lull or the motivation or the clarity isn't there, what are some things that you did and or still do?
Yeah. If I can be honest,
Please.
I I don't think I lost motivation
Okay. Okay.
because I was so hungry for the position that I did not want to give it up.
Gotcha.
Now, I may have lost some motivations around some other stuff, but that was one thing that I was like, yeah, I'm grateful for this. I'm going to steward this well. Um, and I know if I lose morale and motivation, what does that do for the team that I'm leading,
Okay.
right? So for that, yeah, I was constantly trying to be motivated and trying to figure out like how can I improve and how can I help the team improve? How what can we do? Now, of course, there may be moments where I doubted or moments where we were down because with cheerleading you're cheering other people on. You're leading the
Right.
people
Right.
for that, but also as a team because we're working towards competition as well. You got to keep that motivation going for other people. So just keeping myself hyped, keeping myself encouraged. Reading
Okay.
definitely helped. I was an
Okay.
avid reader even as a young person, but continued that in college, just always reading, just keeping, positive words in front of me before affirmations were affirmations.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
That's one way to stay motivated if you keep it in front of you. And then you said you had chip, on your shoulder
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
uh, because of that. So in competition, we had goals. So if you had the cheer competition, if you were tumbling, if you were doing whatever it was, you had goals. Do you set goals now? Do you have things that you strive for, that you work towards, that you're chasing? Is chasing the right word? That we're going
Chasing
after?
strive.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I set goals um, at the beginning of every year and every quarter. I kind of assess those goals.
Okay.
Um, what I'm working towards, making sure that this still fits to where I'm trying to go, either a career or just personally or spiritually. There's a couple of different categories that I set goals around, but I focus on three main goals throughout the year that I'm constantly kind of chipping away at and making sure I'm investing, not just monetarily, but investing my time
Yeah.
into growing and achieving those goals. But goal setting, absolutely love goal setting. Feel like it's like what the scripture says, my people perish for
Lack of
lack of
knowledge. Yeah.
vision, lack of
Yeah.
knowledge. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we I gotta keep that vision and goals in mind,
Okay.
every day. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh, under pressure,
Mm,
under pressure, then and maybe you use that same approach now, but how did you handle the pressure?
mm. Oh, that's a good question. Hmm. I think I worked well under pressure. Probably more mature now than I was then
Yeah.
in my response, and how I perform or work well under pressure. Again, I am a team rallier.
Okay.
So, and if that may be different from somebody that's in an individual sport, but even there, you still have people in your corner that you're working with you, be it a trainer, a coach, or, whatever that looks like.
Right.
Having people in your corner to help you to do that, I just, yeah.
So now I guess you have to have a team around you now.
Team,
You have your
yeah,
I'd like to call them your internal board of directors. Who's part of that group that could
yeah.
encourage, rally, support you, lift up, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And definitely my husband is, on that board for sure. And even though I would even put my kids on that, it's not something that I kind of put that pressure on them to do for me, but just know this is why I'm pursuing that or this is why, I'm going after what I'm going after. So
Okay.
yeah. hmm
Okay. Are there any nuggets that I didn't cover that you want to share with us? Because I'm going to get to a couple other things and a couple of quick steps, and then we're going to get out of here. But anything
Yeah.
that you want to share with us and the audience that I may not have asked?
Yeah. Um, listen, I enjoy sports. I work for a Christian sports organization. which is quite interesting. So I get to see a plethora of different kinds of sports that I never even knew about. And what I love the most about that and just the world of sports is that people come together for sports.
Yeah.
People rally around sports. And with that, there's so much change that can happen in the world of sports because it's just like a commonplace. Almost feels like an even level playing field, no matter the level. We're willing to build around that, and people do a lot when you're in a community of like mine. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. A couple things. Let's get to. Then we're gonna get out of here. If somebody spent the day with you then and now, what would they be surprised by? If somebody spent the day with you then, and if somebody spent the day with you now, what would be surprising, Miss LaJena?
Oh my gosh. They probably say I'm boring.
Okay. Okay.
I yeah, probably that I'm boring. I don't really do a whole lot. I do what I'm supposed to do and I keep it moving. Like I don't really have a whole lot going on, but
Okay.
boring, but also content and filled. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
for sure.
Now back then we had were Walkmans out then back in the day. But what was on your playlist then?
Oh. So
Okay, okay, okay.
it's a different breed. There's no judgment here, right?
No judgment, safe space. Because we want to ask about what's the playlist now. And then would anybody be surprised by uh what's on
I
your
was okay, so I'm definitely an R&B girly.
okay.
Love
All right.
R&B, but I really bumped some Britney Spears like back in the 2000s. I was a
Oh
Britney
wow, that
Spears
would
fan.
shock some people. That's probably not a big Gremlin faith.
Used to ride my car through the yard bumping Britney Spears. Do you hear me? Very loudly and
Wow.
proudly.
Wow. 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 Okay. What about now? What's on the playlist that would surprise somebody now?
I still like R&B. I'm a Brandy fan. I'm so excited to she's on tour this year. I've been waiting on that.
Okay.
So Brandy and worship music. That's what you're gonna
Okay.
find with me.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
One word that describes how sports competition shape you.
Mm, good question. One word. Hmm. Wow, that's a hard one. Oh, sports competition. Okay, I'm gonna say grounded. Oh, I'll take foundation.
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 That's a good word.
Yeah,
Yeah,
foundation.
yeah, that's
Because in order to get to that to level of competing, especially on a national stage, you got to have a foundation.
gotta have a foundation. You,
Yeah.
you you talked about affirmations, but what's a mantra? Last one, last question, last quick step. What's a mantra or a quote or something that you live by today?
Oh, I said it earlier. Like you are most equipped and qualified to help the person that you used to be. Um, like I believe that wholeheartedly. I am, my favorite scripture is Titus 2:3, like the older should teach the younger. So I'm always about helping the younger person and not necessarily in age, it could be an experience.
Yeah.
So just being able to help somebody else along the way, we gotta always reach back.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, Miss
Yeah.
LaJena, thank you for your time in the Exchange Zone podcast, the bridge
Yay.
between sports and life. Remember, in the Exchange Zone, we make sure we don't drop this.
That's, the,
Thank you for
that's
your
right.
time. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you for sharing with our audience. And if you can think of anybody else who you would want to hear on this, let me know. We're always open to hearing from our collegiate and beyond athletes and the Exchange Zone podcast. Until next time, folks, stay connected.